Okay, so now I'm going to go through challenge 14. So if you read the problem, it says ask the user to enter a number between 10 and 20 inclusive. So that means it includes both 10 and 20 in that. If they enter a number within this range, display the message thank you, otherwise display the message incorrect answer. So again, we'll just highlight the keywords. So we're asking the user, so we know there's an input. We know we're dealing with a number or an integer. This one has to be between 10 and 20. Okay, so we're dealing with a range of numbers here instead of just kind of above or below one number. Another if statement, and again we have to display a message at the end. So similar to what we did before, another kind of a logic diagram could be just a rough sketch to help you think through what the coding will actually look like or how it will actually work. So we're going to ask the user to input a number. We'll check if the number is between 10 and 20. If it is, we'll display thank you, and if it isn't, we'll display incorrect answer. So I'm not going to show the logic diagram on the right like I did last time. So if you didn't already, just take a wee sketch of that so it can help you keep track of where you are. So the same now as the last one. We have to start by declaring our variables, and the variables again are the numbers that can change depending on something. So this will depend on the user input. So I'm going to name the variable number because that's relevant to the code. I'm going to say number is equal to int. So int or int, short for integer, means that anything after this bracket now, and within that and the end bracket, can be considered as a number. So that's just to help the program understand what it's dealing with. So number is equal to int, which is an input. Open our brackets again, and now in these brackets we're going to put in the text we wanted to display when it's asking the question to the user. So we wanted to say type in a number between 10 and 20. We close our quotation marks and close the bracket. And the line is still shaded grey, so that means it's not finished. Okay, and if we actually look and see this highlighted blue, this bracket, so its matching bracket is also highlighted blue. So if we look at that, there's two brackets there, but there isn't one to close this input, so we just need to put in another one at the end, and that's the end of that line. So we'll go through this. There's two different ways we can do this code. I'm going to go through this way first, and they're both going to use if statements. So we're going to start anyway with our if, and we wanted to actually take the number that the user put in and figure out is it sitting in that range now. So if number is greater than or equal to 10, and is another function in Python, and number is less than or equal to 20. We use our semicolon then, so that's the end of that if statement. So that is all we needed to check if that's true there. So then we put the semicolon to say that's all you need to check. Press enter, and it should be indented like this at the side, so it comes in a little bit. And that means now anything that starts there is going to happen if this is true. So if number is greater than or equal to 10 and it's less than or equal to 20, and I should have a space in there just. Okay. So if that's true, what we wanted to do is display our text, so we wanted to print. So that's our word for display. Open bracket, open quotation mark, and we wanted to print out thank you. Close quotation mark, close brackets. Now, when we press enter, it'll automatically indent. We don't want that anymore because we're finished with that if statement. So we press backspace, it goes back to the start of the line, and we can type in else and semicolon. So that means anything else other than that range of numbers, anything else is going to do something now for us. So we press enter, and what we want to happen if it's not in that range of numbers is we want it to print again. This time we want it to print incorrect answer. And close our quotation marks and close our brackets. So we can run that now and test it. So it says type in a number between 10 and 20. I'm going to type in 13. It says thank you. And I'll just, like I said before, is to make this a bit neater, we want a space in there. So add the space between the 20 and the quotation marks, and it'll print out that space below. So we run that again. So now we have this space down there automatically. So type in a number between 10 and 20 again. We'll say 30, and it's correct answer. So now, just to point out, make sure when you use this and, you have to declare number twice. So you have to say if number is greater than or equal to 10 and number is less than or equal to 20. So we can't just say if number is greater than or equal to 10 and less than 20. You need to say number again after the and. Now, I mentioned that there was a second way to do this code. So I'm just going to go through that now. And you can use either way, but it's just good to practice both ways, and you could just save them as two separate files. So we'll clear up to there because this first line is going to be the same. This second one now isn't going to use an and. It's going to use what's called a nested if function, or nested if statement, sorry. So if number is greater than or equal to 10, so it's going to check first if it's greater than or equal to 10, semicolon. When it checks that, we then wanted to check if it's under 20, so we can say another if in here. If number is less than or equal to 20, equal to 20, semicolon, then we wanted to print thank you. Okay, so what's going on there anyway is first thing it's checking is the number above 10 or equal to, and if it is, it's going to then check is the number less than or equal to 20, and if that is the case, we know it's in that range of numbers and we're going to print thank you. So we have to go down here and say else, and we want to print again. This time we're going to type an incorrect answer. So checking if it's above 10. If it is above 10, it'll check again if it's above 20, and if it is above below 20, and if it is below 20, it says thank you. Otherwise, if it's above 10 but it's not below 20, it'll print incorrect answer. And now we've one more else to do, so we have to go back to the very start, because if it detects here that the number isn't above 10, it won't do any of this inside here. So it won't do any of this if the number isn't above 10. So we need to tell it now, if it is below 10, it has to also tell it that it's an incorrect answer. So down here, else, next line, print incorrect answer. So I'll just talk through that again. So why we call it a nested statement is because there's an if and then there's another if within that. Okay, so it asks if first, and then if that's true, it'll ask another if. So that's what the term nested means. So we can test that to see if it works. So type in a number between 10 and 20. It should work the same as it did before. 12, thank you. And if we just run it again and we type in 99, incorrect answer. Okay, so you can do that both ways, and the first method is probably the easiest, but both of them have their different uses.